John Santucci from tcpalm.com and Treasure Coast Newspapers. Want to make a quick apology to Treasure Coast High School and especially Athletic Director Dan Como and Coach Irvin Jones and the players. We shot PrepZone on the road this afternoon, and when we got back to the office, we found out that there was a malfunction with the video. So we're going to shoot this and still give you guys our picks. We do want to apologize to them. Hope you guys had a good time, though. We had some fun, right?
We did.
Being out there. All right, Dennis, let's go right to this. Week 4, when you look back at last week, what's your biggest takeaway?
Actually, I've got two. The first one would be St. Edwards with a roster of only 14 or 15 players. The heart they showed last week in taking apart Boca Raton Christian, very impressive.
Yeah.
C.J. Hadnot threw 3 touchdown passes. Brian Manella scored 4 total touchdowns. And all of a sudden, a team that was really trying to find itself because they had no bodies, all of a sudden looks like a very legitimate team to make the Sunshine State Athletic Conference playoffs.
Right. The top 2 teams in each district, there's 4 districts, make the playoffs. St. Ed's now tied at number 1 with Jupiter Christian, both at 1-0. Berean Christian, which I think was our favorite coming in, they're both 0-2. So what do you think? I'm asking you, put you on the spot. Does St. Ed's go ahead? Do they win the district this year?
You know what? I don't know if they're going to win the district, but I think St. Ed's is going to make it into the playoffs.
I agree with you. I hate to not give an answer. I think they get in. I don't know if they win or not, but that was a great win for them last week. It's a team that had beaten them soundly a year ago.
You really have to admire. I mean, when you have 14 or 15 guys, you know there's not going to be many bodies on the sideline. You know you're going to have to go most of the way. And for those guys, they not only did it, but they looked like they embraced it. And that's not surprising for a program that in 2004, during the Hurricanes, played 4 games in 12 days and was proud of it.
Absolutely. So my biggest takeaway is that you're going to have to be able to run the ball successfully to win District 8A. You look at Vero Beach's defense, Treasure Coast defense, Fort Pierce Central's defense. All of these teams are stopping the run. They're not giving up a lot of points. You are going to have to run the ball successfully, I think, to win a very difficult district. What's your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you, and it's kind of like in the same manner when we talked about earlier was the way the defenses have really taken charge. You know, Vero Beach has 2 shutouts. Sebastian River has 3 shutouts. Has allowed only 10 points in 4 games. That's a school record. Fort Pierce Central has 2 shutouts. Has allowed only 8 points in 3 games. Also a school record. The deal is this: you get to the playoffs, you have to be able to stop people if you have any chance of winning. I think Vero Beach has found that out almost the hard way. Not being able to get those big stops has led to several of their road playoff losses. And I think the way these teams are all playing defense right now, they are really on the right path.
So we unfortunately didn't get the chance to let our viewers see what we talked about at Treasure Coast, but where do you think the Titans are right now? They've coming off 2 consecutive tough losses, one in overtime to Deltona 2 weeks ago. Last week they lose to Martin County. They lost, I think, 4 minutes of the game. They lost that game 17-14. They were winning throughout. Where do you see this team at this point after the first month of the season?
I think they're fine. I think if the losses were 42-0 instead of 16-10 in double overtime and 17-14 as you mentioned, then there might be real cause for concern. But this is a team that's still playing top-shelf defense. No one has scored 20 points on them yet. They had a shutout in the season opener. Lots of positives to look at. The biggest problems are on offense. They have to smooth some things out, get a little bit more consistency, take better care of the football. They had some problems in that overtime loss to Deltona that directly cost them a chance to win the game. So once they smooth that stuff out, I think they're going to be just fine. No reason for any panic at all.
I don't know that there's any reason to panic. I think it's this. You have 1 week to get your offense going because you have Central in 2 weeks. So they play Westwood this week. We're going to give our picks in a couple minutes, but they have to figure out how to score just enough to make that defense be able to hold the score. And I think, and I've said this before, I think the magic number for them is 21. Coach Jones thinks it's 17, but that would have given them a tie last week. I think 21 points is going to be enough against 9/10 of the teams, quite frankly, that they might even see in the playoffs. I think it would be enough for them.
Well, I think having a rivalry game this week is really a good thing to get them that energy level up. So I don't think they'll have any problem getting excited about this game, and I think it's something that can be a big carryover into the district game next week.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into our picks. First game, Fort Pierce Central Wellington. How do you see this game playing out?
Well, Central took apart Wellington last year, 41-24, and I think we're going to see more of the same. The Cobras have played terrific defense coming out of the gate, and if you look, their offense has gotten better each week. 3 points in the kickoff classic, 24 in the season opener, 37 against Clueleston, and then 46-8 over a Tampa Catholic team that was ranked in Class 3A last week and was coming off a 10-win season.
State semifinalist last year.
So I think Central is doing everything right now. I think the momentum continues. They win this game 35-13.
I think junior quarterback Dan Vaughn is finally figuring out where he fits in this offense. I think the coaches now have a good idea of how to use him. 3 touchdown passes, like you said last week. He seems to be getting a little bit better. Had some hiccups. That's going to happen, though, against a good defense. I think they're going to be fine this week. 31-14. Now, by the way, Central players complain every week, even when we pick them, that they're not respected. So I don't know if this helps you guys sleep better at night, but we are picking you both to win, just so you guys know.
I think the coaches would tell them the W means more than the margin.
Absolutely. Somerset Canyons at Okeechobee. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, Somerset's won 3 in a row since an opening loss to Palmer Trinity, and Okeechobee coming off a 35-0 loss to Sebastian River really got hammered. But Sebastian River's defense is going to take a lot of victims this year. I think Okeechobee has played the far superior schedule. I think they've still got a lot of talent on offense. I think they bounce back and win this one convincingly, 31-19.
You know, I know that you could kind of hit the panic button and go, oh my gosh, Bubba Flood with negative yardage. I don't think that'll ever happen again, by the way, and it never happened before. And obviously they struggled offensively. Like you said, that Sebastian River defense is good. I think that was more of an aberration than the story of Okeechobee's season. This is a team very much in the playoff hunt, and I think they're going to be upset this week. I think it's going to be 42-10, and I think it's going to be over early, personally. Centennial Martin County.
Well, Centennial's had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, but let's face it, the Eagles have a lot of problems. They're coming off back-to-back blowout losses in which they were shut out.
Right.
Martin County quarterback Austin Kirkendall is having a terrific senior season. I think there's no reason for that to think it won't continue. I think Martin County wins this game easily, 28-7.
I think it'll be another Martin County win. I know they have South Fork coming up. You and I have kind of gone back and forth. Is this a trap game? I know you don't believe in that concept. I do, and that's all right. But I think Martin County wins this one. I think it's going to be 24-7, but I think it's going to be a pretty thorough win.
And you alluded to it, but I think it sets up one of the most compelling Martin Bowls ever next week.
Last year was for a playoff spot. I think this year will be as well. And so obviously, let's see how Martin County is going to want to go into that game with momentum, though. They're not going to want to come off a loss to Centennial. John Carroll, Father Lopez. Will the trip to Daytona Beach be a problem for the Golden Rams?
No, that'll be no problem at all. John Carroll scored 52 points against Father Lopez last year, and I believe they're going to go up there and have another easy win. I think it'll be 35-14. John Carroll get its second win in a row. 42-14,
John Carroll. I just think their offense is finally starting to find its rhythm. St. Ed's and Windermere Prep.
You know, we talked about earlier how St. Ed's, the heart that they showed last week in taking down Boca Raton Christian, but Windermere Prep's a different animal entirely. 4-0, 400 yards a game, 50 points a game, scored 200 and allowed 21. I just don't see how a thin roster of St. Ed's could handle an opponent with that many weapons. I think they'll go up there and do what they always have done under Bill Mata, tremendous amount of heart. They'll have effort all the way through from start to finish. But I think Windermere Prep wins this one 33-10.
I think Windermere Prep is the class of the Sunshine Conference. I really do. And I just think they're going to be too much for St. Ed's. I will say this. Pirates hold them under 50. That's my prediction. Final score, though, 47-10. Lakes at Vero Beach. I think this might be the toughest test so far for Lenny Jankowski's squad. How do you see this one?
It could be. Lakes coming off a game against W.T. Dwyer in which they allowed 40 points. And Dwyer, one of the top teams in the state regardless of class. So hard to take too much from that other than that Lakes isn't quite at that level clearly.
Right.
Vero Beach has done everything right so far. They're running the ball well, they're passing the ball well, and they're getting good defense. I like that combination. I think it's enough to go to well, I think it's enough to get Vero Beach to 5-0, 33-17.
Yeah, I think when you look at Vero, they've had in every game but one, they've had a 100-yard passer and a 100-yard receiver. And the one game that they didn't was the season opener when they had a 90-plus yard rusher, 90-plus yard receiver. I don't know that Lakes can shut down Mike Smith. Mike Smith is having an amazing year, over 500 yards already, averaging 2 touchdowns a game as a wide receiver, having a great senior season. Akeem Dixon is back. He's looked phenomenal. I just think they're going to be too much for Lakes. I think Vero Beach wins this one 42-17.
You know, one thing about Vero Beach's passing offense, Mike Dean has really shown a nice touch on the long ball, and I think that's really, really added just another wrinkle for their offense.
And let's just pause real quick and talk about our quarterbacks. When you look at the guys who statistically are having the best seasons, it's clearly Mike Dean and Austin Kirkendall, 2 seniors, guys who have been in the program, and by the way, guys who are absolutely protecting the football. 1 interception between the 2 of them. I mean, what do you think about that early on?
I think South Fork would like to see Stone Lebanowitz out of that equation after a 6-touchdown performance last week, but and that absolutely belongs in that conversation as well. And they all have the same thing in common.
Right.
They're guys who've been involved in the program for a while, and of course, Storm, a 4-year starter, and they're making good decisions. And I think when you have guys to throw to, and all 3 teams have developed receivers, when you have guys to throw to who can make plays after the catch, that makes the quarterback look even better.
Absolutely. By the way, Stone, apologies. Didn't mean to leave you out of that conversation. Last game, Treasure Coast Westwood.
Well, I love this matchup. I really do. Two rivals. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement about this game. Treasure Coast, of course, eager to get back on track after losing 2 in a row. And Westwood wanting to build on his first win of the season last week against Jupiter. And you would think that Westwood would be the favorite here because Marcus Burgess is such a dangerous running back and is capable of doing a whole lot, just as he did a week ago. But I really like Treasure Coast defense. They haven't been broken this year. They did give up the one play against Martin County Lake, but nobody's been able to really push them around, and I think that's going to be the difference in this one. Treasure Coast wins 17-13.
Wow. You know, these two coaches, Treasure Coast coach Irvin Jones, Westwood coach Aaron Shepard, are very close friends. I don't know how many people know that, but actually Irvin was the best man at Aaron's wedding. So, I mean, these two coaches are very close. They know each other. I don't think there will be a lot of surprises as far as what they do. I think there'll be a little effort at one-upsmanship, though. But I've said this last week. I'm going to go with defense against offense at this point in the season. And I know that Treasure Coast offense is still trying to find its legs, basically, but their defense is playing phenomenal ball. I think they give up a long touchdown pass or a long touchdown run because they've been susceptible to that big play, especially last week. You saw the big play late in the game against Martin County, but I think Treasure Coast wins this one 21-7, and I think they do a fairly good job of keeping Burgess on track. So that's it for us. We want to hear back from you. Hashtag TC PrepZone, at John Santucci, at DennisJacob80 on Twitter. Obviously, you know that you can go to TC Palm for all of your needs, not just sports, although we are the best. So have a good and safe week, and, catch.
See ya.